This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
Welcome to Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Kyle, and joining me is only Cody.
Hi, guys.
Where is the other one? Where is Ken?
I lost my partner in crime.
Oh, no.
He had a family emergency this week and is back in the Midwest. He's back in Iowa.
Woo! That sounds
He left me with the
fun.
Kids. It was truly an emergency.
Yeah, that's true. So
I have to take him to school in the morning. I barely am awake before 8 o'clock, and they have to be there at 8:15. This is truly tragic for them.
Now you know what he has to do, getting up much earlier,
God.
taking care of a lot more stuff in the morning.
I do not pretend that he is not the rock in our family. Okay.
Some
I'm
things you
there.
have to be like, no, he's the guy.
He keeps us together.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do this very short-term basis, but I become I'm known as fun dad. I am the fun dad in the relationship. I give them things that are inappropriate, like for their diet. I'll sugar them up, let them skip school. Like, I'm just fun dad. And I'm now militant mom. And
it is not fun.
It is not fun. And the boys do not know how to treat this. They're like, what happened to mom?
And I'm like, I'm dad and mom now. And they're like, oh
no. He's been gone only 2 days. And I'm like, I'm single mom now. You're going to abide by my rules.
Waking up in the morning with a bottle of wine, whatever.
Yeah,
put something on.
I haven't got there yet.
No.
I'm more like, okay, let's go pick out clothes.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is kind of fun. But I'm like, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Get your jacket on. Go.
Being strict is the worst.
It is tough. It's not as fun, that's for sure. And you find out things about yourself, Kyle. You find out where your pain points are. Like,
oh yeah.
I guess I didn't really notice how slow a eater one of them is. And then you're just like, the clock is ticking and we're like, we got to go. And I always thought, like, maybe we nag them too much. No, you got to ride those kids. You got to stay on them. There is a schedule and we got to stick to it.
Well, this is clearly a good learning experience for you. And for Ken, it's a normal day. Yeah. He'll be listening to this and he'll be like, yes,
that's how it is.
That's how it is.
He's only ever been gone once since we've had children, and he went on a client visit right at the start of the pandemic. Like, they hadn't barely shut anything down. It was like when he got back after this weekend trip and they shut everything down. It was close call.
Just perfect timing. Remember when Normal?
Remember
Normal?
I don't know what that was. That was February of 2020. He went on a business trip, and that was the last and only time that he ever got to go anywhere.
And that was 20 years ago.
It feels like it. I don't even know what day it is. Like, no. I am so frazzled from all this stuff that just got dumped in my lap this week, and rightfully so. That's why you have a partner. You have a partner so that when things come up, you can dump them in their lap. And I just hope I rise to the occasion.
Sure. This is your chance now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be super mom. I feel like
by the end of the week. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ken, I don't need you. I've got this handled. So.
But also, please, Ken, come back.
Please come back. It's all a facade. Right. I am freaking out.
We just have to sound good for the podcast.
Yeah. So that's kind of how my week has been. But we were just talking how now that he's been gone a couple of days, I'm like, what do I do in my evenings? Because we have our routine and we have our shows, and I'm like, I get to pick what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, I'm watching like stupid romantic comedies, like old ones, new ones, sometimes 2 a night. Like, I just don't want to go to bed in an empty bed. So I've been watching like old ones, like The Ugly Truth. Really terrible ones.
Oh, okay.
And Love Guaranteed, and then the new Netflix ones like Love Hard,
which are
The Holiday,
which are especially bad. I'm sure.
So bad. But I'm just eating them up right now.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta turn the brain off. I get it.
I haven't gotten a Hallmark Christmas movie sappy yet, but I'm going to run out of romantic comedies soon at the rate I'm going.
I just would have gone there before Netflix comedies, to be honest. I think I could tolerate Hallmark ones more.
Maybe. There's one that I keep seeing a preview come up for. I think it's on Netflix, and it's got Carrie Ewells and Brooke Shields in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a castle thing, like Castle for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is. I don't want to be ageist here, but it was awful seeing those two old people trying to
I like
fall in
Carrie
love.
Ewells.
Yeah, I do too, but I like him in Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And Brooke Shields, like, just nothing about that appealed to me. I'm like, I don't know why can't I relate to this?
Because you're not there yet. You're still young and hip.
Maybe I'm still fun dad at heart, right?
I'm sure, like, I don't know, 20, 30 years from now or however long it will be, you'll see that movie again. You'll be like, I get it. I get it now.
With a 50-year-old like Liam Hemsworth or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he'll pop up in one of those eventually, right?
Yeah. Be there for me. But so it's been a kind of a tough week. I've been very busy.
I've heard you have tough weeks before and on each podcast episode, and this one probably is at the top of the list. Like,
tough.
I feel you breaking.
I have to get up early. I have to actually mother my children. This is torture.
She is a great mother, people. We promise.
I know it's not all like free for all.
Right.
I have a wonderful, wonderful partner, and he picks up so much of my slack, so I'm able to do other things. And he is infinitely more patient than I am, like infinitely more patient. So
yes, that is all true.
There is a reason why he tends to do some of these things, because I just snap.
Yeah.
I have no patience. I go from fun dad to like militant mom in like 3 seconds. So he's a good barrier for that.
Meanwhile, he's like, take a breath.
Yeah,
it's
calm
okay.
down.
Yeah.
Then I freak out because he told me to calm down. It's just, we have a routine.
Yeah.
It's marriage.
In and out of the office.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's dive into the industry stuff that people really probably want to know about.
Yeah. Not how my life is falling apart this week. That's fine. It's fine. It's cool. You mentioned that there was not a ton of release schedule changes, but a biggie that happened this week was Deepwater from Disney got pulled from the release schedule. It was a Fox holdover, right?
Yeah, Fox holdover starred Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. Was supposed to be a drama, romance, kind of like a thriller in some ways.
It wasn't about an underwater station attacked by deepwater monsters or sharks.
Probably without the monsters and sharks? Question mark? I'm not too sure, but it's pulled from the release schedule. It's supposed to come out initially January 14th, and now it's not on there. So I don't know. Maybe they were able to make it work to where it's going to be on streaming soon, or maybe they're waiting just to throw it somewhere else that works better.
So yeah, not a lot of other changes, and just for booking strategies, it's all about Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man continues to really sell out. It's going to be the biggie. It probably means that I have to watch a Jimmy Stewart movie. just means I have to do that. But
now, do you want to tell people like what that means if they missed what was it,
so
2 episodes ago that we discussed that?
So I threw a real hot take out there that I thought, there may not be another $100 million opening post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I'll backtrack that a little. And I said, of the films coming out, I don't see any $100 million, but the one that could be was Spider-Man, but I didn't think it was going to happen with the way things are going and how much hype had been for like, especially films in October, and then nothing, and then it didn't open as well as we had thought. I mean,
and this was discussed before tickets became on sale for
early.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, this was early November.
Yeah.
And I think it was before we got sick, and this might have been October when we were talking about this.
It all blurs together. I don't remember.
Anyways, fast forward to now. Spider-Man advance tickets went through the roof. It will be disappointing if this is not $100 million opening. Like,
yes,
it will be crushing to some people. This is almost a given at this point that this is going to be $100 million opening.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like, well, so Ken and I bet that if I didn't think there would be $100 million opening and I had to watch my favorite Jimmy Stewart movie.
Favorite in air quotes.
Yeah. Oh, a torture movie for me.
A classic for some others.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about pre-watching it just so I don't have to do it later.
You mean just get it out of the
Just
way?
get it out of the way.
So that's just watching it.
No,
If you're
it's going to count.
I don't know what pre-watching means. That means you would watch it twice,
So
right?
do I concede now or do I concede after the inevitable? Like, what if it does like, I don't think it'll do very much. Some people are saying what, like 150 to $200 million opening.
Some projections lately by some, reliable sources.
Are they reliable, Kyle? 'Cause
Well,
that's just,
they're from industry-related sources that are projecting this, and I just don't know.
gosh.
I don't think
I can't
I don't know.
possibly think that is going to happen.
I think pre-pandemic
125 is high.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at. Not
Pre-pandemic, I think there could have been a solid chance for 150. I don't know about 200, but 150. But
yeah.
post-pandemic, like, we're still trying to convince audiences to come back. I know there's a lot of hype for Spider-Man, but I don't think it's enough to where it's going to get to 150.
It still is only a Spider-Man movie, and one of the biggest movies of all time, Avengers, had years of build up to
15 movies
Yeah.
or 20 movies, 15 years. Yeah. Meanwhile, Spider-Man, like, there's potential for all of the actors who played Spider-Man to be in one movie,
Is
but
that
that's
like a
not
given?
years of building.
Is that what everybody just believes is a given? That
They believe it.
Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in this. There's going to be 3 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, rumors are saying that could be it. Like, fans are just making it believe. They're really trying to convince themselves. I have no idea. I mean, if the villains are in this movie, sure, why not? Maybe they somehow made that happen, but I have no idea.
Weird. I would just think
That's
people
why
would be so disappointed. Is that why advance tickets are so high?
Yeah, I do. I think it's the spectacle of this what if situation rather than, oh my gosh, Spider-Man's back. Like,
Right.
and Spider-Man's great. I love Spider-Man.
Yep.
Everyone loves Spider-Man, but not to, have the projections of 150 to 200 million alone. Like, there had to be some other caveat to it, and this is it.
It's always surprising what ignites and sparks and set offs like the must-see movie of the year. I thought it would have been maybe something like James Bond, but now in retrospect, that was probably a title that was too old, like for older, the younger people aren't into James Bond like older people are.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of see why Venom was so big. I misjudged that one. I knew it was going to be good, but it was way bigger than I thought.
If it has the big Marvel stamp on it.
Yeah, it seems to be still what is the safe choice and the value choice. Like,
that's the right wording.
You're gonna get a great movie for your ticket price, and so I think it's the safe value choice to go to the movie.
Yeah, and I think especially in these times, people are just choosing what's safe. I mean, I think we've also talked about this ad nauseum many times prior,
Right.
and the big Marvel stamp of approval. That's what it is.
Now, I know outside of Spider-Man that Matrix is actually creating a lot of buzz and interest and tracking awareness.
Yeah, tickets just became on sale too. A new
Yeah, this
trailer
week.
dropped. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not surprised. There's a lot of awareness. It's a known brand and stuff. And this is a new take with amazing new special effects. It will be hurt by being on HBO Max.
Yes.
But I think because it's a film that the special effects warrant you to see in the theater. Like, it makes you want to see them in the theater, that helps it. When you had a film like King Richard that didn't have special effects, it was really more story driven.
Right.
That's something that could be seen at home.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right there. Honestly, I agree with you about The Matrix, but I think The Matrix almost could be better than like a Kingsman even. It still will be heard by HBO Max, but
Right.
I don't know. I think there's going to be more hype for HBO or for The Matrix than there will for Kingsman.
better not be hype for HBO Max.
No, God no.
I think you're correct. I think of that group that's willing to go to a rated R, like adult-centered film, I kind of think Spider-Man is still number one, even though it's not rated R. It's just that adult film appeals to them first. Then I think it's Matrix, and then I think Kingsman's the third option, and you may not get into the third option over the holiday break.
Yeah, Disney won't like that, but that's gonna be what it is. I just think with Matrix, like you said, special effects. It's
an original cast. It's kind of a spectacle.
Yeah, and there is still nostalgia for the Matrix. It's not necessarily like I don't know. It's definitely not a property where it's current, but it has been so influential for a lot of people when like they first saw it or when they showed it to other people, and it just has influenced many other action movies that it's just beloved in that nature to where they're seeing a return, and the return based on trailers actually looks pretty good. Like the trailers have been really good so far, and the marketing's been good. So I just see that push and that excitement for it bubbling more than I would for the Kingsman.
I think a solid number 2 film, though, is going to be Sing 2. Like, I think it's going to be Spider-Man number 1, Sing 2 number 2, because you still need something to appeal to audiences. Like, you need a film that you take kids and grandma to. And if you're not going to go see Spider-Man, I think your only other option is Sing 2 for that. Yeah. So I think those are going to be the 2 biggies. And then Matrix is probably going to come in 3rd. And Kingsman, now, when you look at the whole picture, might even be in 4th place.
Yeah, I think you nailed it.
Yeah. And then we might still have, and then there's still American Underdog and Journal for Jordan. I think they're a very distant 5th and 6th place.
Those two will be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see American Underdog over-indexing in the Midwest and the
yes,
South,
in the Midwest for sure.
And the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, Journal for Jordan probably over-indexing in some of the coastal areas. I think that's a tough one because I feel like it's a story geared more to females, but...
Yeah, sure. With the romance angle to it, I suppose. Yeah, those two will just be interesting because those could be family gathering type movies. Not to the extent of a Sing 2, but they're... within the rating and the combined demographics could be to where they're universally watched.
Yeah, they're going to get the adults that really don't want to see an R. They're going to get up to that PG-13 crowd.
So if those two movies even kind of overtake the Kingsman in some areas, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. No, it's just... I think it's just tough at Christmas to see an R.
Yes.
And not have the spectacle of something like The Matrix, where you're going to see the special effects and you're going to see the action and all of that. No, it's just too much product. Too much. I never thought I would say that, but it is.
It's great.
It's just, I'm concerned it's all going to cannibalize a little bit each other.
Yeah, too much can sometimes be a bad thing. It's great to see, but when you're getting to the nitty gritty, trying to sort everything out, especially for, a booker such as yourself.
How many screens do I give Spider-Man? And then does Sony get to have a Journal for Jordan screen if they are getting 2 or 3 Spider-Man screens? I just don't think you can, in these bigger complexes, tell Sony, you can have 4 screens out of my 8-screen complex. You can't do that. And so what do you do for Journal? And do you take American Underdog over Journal? And it's just so many. It's just such a juggling act. And luckily, Licorice Pizza lowered their print count. UA lowered it, so that's not in play as bad. And all the locations where it's in play you can definitely fit it in. So that's not an issue anymore. But that was adding another layer of complexity to it because is this going to be an Oscar film? Do we play it? Is it going to play anywhere? Three openings on Christmas was a lot, and I kind of wish that Sony would move Journal for Jordan into the 1st or 2nd week in January because I will give it so many locations. I need product then so bad. Yeah, and since it's not really like who wants to cry on Christmas? Like it's not really a film
not me
that you want to see on Christmas.
Yeah.
So maybe in the holiday, but it's just such a happy time of year. And if we've learned anything from Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, you just don't put sad or R, that sort of stuff at Christmas time. And I think Matrix will get away with it because you know what to expect from that. But I kind of think Kingsman will be hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you on there. But yeah, any other thoughts as of now when it comes to the projections or heading towards Christmas?
I think we're gonna easily see $100 million opening with Spider-Man. Now,
That's safe to say.
That's safe to say. I will be watching a Jimmy Stewart movie
Mm-hmm.
sometime between Christmas and New Year.
And I was wrong too. I also was on the side of Cody being like, I kind of see it right now where even with Spider-Man, that's not going to happen. But clearly I was wrong. And
whoa, we just missed the boat on that, which is a good thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm fine with being wrong about this.
Such a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just fitting it all in. Just a juggling act, fitting it all in. It's tough. I'm hoping somebody moves or print counts go down or something that it takes some of the pressure off.
Sure.
But everybody's under a lot of pressure to get their dates in, and it's tough. There's just not enough screens, which I never thought I would say either, because this is like feast or famine. Either I have too many prints or not enough. Like you look at January, there is like barely anything in January.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
it never quite works out, huh?
Never works out.
Yeah.
But from that though, we have been meaning to talk about this article that we saw in New York Times. It came out end of November, and we meant to talk about it on the podcast, but didn't get a chance. It's from, let's see.
Call him out.
Brooks Barnes wrote, "Movie theaters must urgently rethink the experience," the study says. So basically it's, Wall Street analysts looking at it and saying, like, you have to redo the movie going experience to enhance it to more people, because you are going to permanently lose customers from the pandemic. And as I was reading the article, that they were saying that rising ticket and concession prices, decreasing experiential value, including the perception the movie going has become a hassle, is what's causing is the big issues we have to confront moving forward. And I don't disagree with that. I think that we were seeing trends pre-pandemic that showed that we had to increase the experience in the theater. We had to have new plush seats. We had to have better concessions, better quality concessions, and just a more like luxurious experience, because you were competing with people's living rooms. And it wasn't just before streaming, it was a technology issue that people were just deciding to stay home because they could have a beautiful, huge TV, surround sound, all of the perks technologically on that end from the equipment, for cheap. And so that was the issue. And then pandemic hit, and then what kept us pre-pandemic was that content wasn't available very quickly. But there was some pressure there. I mean, we were having so many windowing discussions. Studios wanted to collapse the window. They wanted to get to the consumer quicker. The consumer was wanting it because now TVs have gotten bigger and cheaper, and they have this great system at home. So there was all this momentum to that. And then the pandemic hit, and it just really put everybody at home. Like, it
fast-tracked it, basically.
Super fast-tracked it. And now you've probably permanently lost some customers. There's no doubt about that. They've gotten out of the habit of movie going, because a lot of theaters were shut down for a year. It wasn't just a few months. It was a year with restrictions and everything. So you've probably permanently lost that, because movie going is habitualized. It is something that a learned behavior that you reinforce. And when you get out of that routine, it's hard to get back in. And that's So the article touches on that, and I completely agree. And to get you back into that routine, you have to offer something new and exciting and event-like. Mm-hmm. And we were seeing that the content that was doing well was event-like and stuff. But I think the big issue that the article failed to realize, they don't have the insight to see, is that this industry has always depended on product. And that, post-pandemic, we were having some success, but not a lot. It's because we weren't having the best of the best product out yet. And now we get something like, Spider-Man, and it just almost blew this article out of the water. Obviously, according to pre-sales, people are just flocking to get to their seat at the theater. They want to see it. Opening night, early show, get in, get their experience. And it doesn't matter if the theater has new seats or the right popcorn or warm plates and stuff. I think when there's a good movie, that trumps all of those other things. And it's just that the good movies have been fewer and far between. And that's what's tough. And you've got to address the situation when you don't have super a huge title driving to the theater. And so I wish they would have had more of that perspective in the article and not just a doomsday urgently rethinking the experience, because the experience is great. Fundamentally, the experience of going on a visual emotional journey with a group of people in a theater is still cannot be topped. Like, you can never replicate that at home.
Yeah.
And so that is still special and pure and fantastic, and something that brings communities together, and we should preserve. But I do think that as we look to 2022, the question should be, how can I enhance this to keep people coming in between the event pictures?
Yeah, exactly. If someone is seeing a movie that isn't an event-like picture, they're going to notice those complaints that are being described in the article.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the seating isn't great, the atmosphere isn't all that clean, yada, yada, yada. But if the movie works and it can bring an event-like experience, whether it's opening day or whether it's, you know, a week or two out of release already and people have been hearing good things about it and they all still go to the theater to see it at that point in time, it does trump over, you know,
Right.
anything else about the movie theater. I know we've complained about the movie theater here in town and how terrible it is, but
So bad.
whenever I've been able to get a good theater experience, it does cancel that out. Like, I'm
Right.
like, yeah, the seating wasn't great and yada yada, but at least I was enjoying the moment of the movie and with the people I was around. Complete strangers, you know, you were with some of your friends, but for the most part, it's with strangers. But if with strangers you can get some great, you know, reactions and a great experience, then yeah, that's the better feeling.
Yeah. And so it's been really interesting. I always read an article if it's about our industry.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's never coming from anybody within the industry. It's always coming from an analyst on the money side, the Wall Street analyst, what their interpretation. And that does have a huge effect. And I just think there needs to be more of an effort to educate these people too on things, because I think they fundamentally don't understand some of the aspects of movie going and in exhibition and all of that, for just the long-term implications of that. And
yeah, unlike other industries in the business world, this one is definitely more, I don't know if complex is the right word, but there's a lot more nuance. There's a lot more moving parts. And a lot of it based on, you know, people and, you know, people's opinions and what people are feeling in the moment or down the road. Like, all of it is just a major gamble when it comes to how these things work itself out.
Right.
And sometimes it's just hard to predict that. And even if you are able to be a business insider or a Wall Street type guy when it comes to this industry, it's hard to predict.
it is. I mean, if we could have predicted this stuff, our industry would have been so different. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did find in the article there was one of the interesting things was that the likely people never to come back were lower income people, and I think that's what we're really seeing. You know, I think there's this push to lower ticket prices at the theater because you're just not getting as many people through. But what you are getting through is a consumer that is okay with that ticket price, has a little bit more means, and is more willing to spend on concessions. I don't know how many people have really seen it where they lower the ticket price and then have all this huge boost in concession buying. I just feel that it's been my experience. I only get this experience from watching dollar sub-run houses go first run, is that the quality of the person at the sub-run pricing, at the value family off the break dollar pricing, was not the same person coming at the first run pricing, and that they weren't spending as much money on concessions, and that consumer wants something for nothing. They really do. They're value bargain hunters, and they are not spenders. And you need to cater to that spending crowd, that crowd that's going to come in, maybe pay a little bit more for a ticket, expect a lot better, service, want more service, want more experience, but also is willing to shell out for it. And I think that's the trend we're seeing, is that the crowd, the lower income crowd is getting their entertainment through streaming, and that they'll probably never come back. But they were never really coming to begin with.
I was going to say that at least for us, we've kind of expected this to happen for a while. So seeing that statistic, it wasn't too surprising, because this was kind of something that we were like, yeah, that makes sense.
It was happening before the pandemic. Dollar and value pricing places, just those theaters weren't working. People were coming less and less to that. And I just think that they want fresh content right away in the theater exclusively, and they just don't want to wait so long for it to then go on video and stuff. So, but I think this, especially in 2021, a window has reinforced that people want a content as soon as it comes out, and that means that they're okay paying a higher ticket price because they're the avid moviegoer. They're the ones actually going.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But
it's always good to check in and see where things are and what perception is of our industry and what thinking is currently. And yeah, we've lost, everybody has lost traffic. Nobody is like above pre-pandemic traffic levels right now.
No.
But I think that what we're settling into is a different customer, a different person coming in, and it's not better or worse. I just think you have to cater more to that person now.
Yeah.
And it might not be lowering ticket prices and things like that. It might just be enhancing experiences.
Yeah, which might, I don't know, it's possible that could be beneficial for your theater anyway. I mean, we keep preaching to enhance it, and if the clientele is coming in and they're expecting that enhancement to happen, then okay, sure.
I've even seen with like seat conversions, where you take a theater, had a long time, say $8 ticket price, you put in luxury seating, you raise it to $9 or $10 because you've got to obviously pay for the seating now and stuff.
Yeah.
And that they still have the same amount of people coming. The people love the seating more. And then they spend it, and then they saw their per capitas in the concession stand go up. I mean, it's so counterintuitive because they already raised prices on the ticket, but what they were seeing was that you were just getting a different kind of a person more willing to spend on the experience. And I think that should be kind of the motto of 2022 marketing. Cater to the person willing to spend on the experience.
Yeah, because if they feel the experience is great, then they'll come back, or in the moment they'll keep spending.
Yeah, they'll buy that extra popcorn.
Yeah,
they'll get those Twizzlers.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Sometimes we'll buy a bag of M&Ms and just dump it in the popcorn bucket.
I thought you were gonna say dump it on the floor. I was like, well, I hope they don't do that.
Dump it in that popcorn bucket and we fish them out. It's awesome.
Sure.
You can tell I'm fun dad and I buy the concessions when we go to
Can come back soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of just wraps up our episode. Anything else to add on before we head out of here?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
I just hope I survive the weekend. I'm not sure when he's coming back, so the uncertainty's not weighing very well on me.
Well, I'm sure everyone listening is wishing Ken was back too.
He's great, just dealing with a family emergency, and it's tough, so.
Yeah.
I'm holding down the fort, honey.
Well, don't worry, everyone. Ken will be back next week, and
hopefully.
Hopefully. It sounds like he will.
Fingers crossed, everyone. Otherwise, I might not be here. I might have to go find him.
You're really making it sound like something else is going on.
No, it's not. He'll be back. It'll be fine.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of Off the Break Podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com, where if you're a theater owner or manager needing updated and accurate film information for all the upcoming releases and marketing materials to promote them on your social media channels, you can check out our website and get all of those things.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye, everyone.